about, let's see, 7:30 going on quarter of 8 here in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, on the Red Sea.
In the morning.
Coming to you live, not from Saudi Arabia, but from Atlanta, Georgia, it's the Matt L. Podcast. Our next guests are my parents, Dr. Rob and Dr. Tina Lovely. And who do we have here?
Well, this is Tina Lovely, and hoping that coming through and that you can see us. I'm here dressed in, we're in our hotel room, actually, right now. And if I wanted to go out on the street or even in the corridor in the hotel room, I would need to have a baya on, which is a long coverlet gown that goes all the way down to my ankle. No open-toed shoes, no stocking feet. I have to wear black stockings. And we have a shawl that in Western hotels and less conservative places like Jeddah, and you can just wear your shawl over your shoulders. But it's designed to be a head cover, and you would wear it like this when you're out on the street for modesty reasons and to respect the culture. So this is how your mom would look later on, or will look later on when I go out with Dad and go shopping. And interestingly, without Dad or another male accompanying someone to accompany me, I would not be permitted to walk out on the street. I would need to have a male escort.
And that's where I come in. So for the next few days, I'm not so much vice president of Dan Dad. I'm just kind of the escort of Tina as she does her various activities. Tomorrow we have a global conference that we'll be participating in, attending. And then after that, the next morning, we'll be flying to different schools where we'll be conducting external visits. Then, at the end of next week, we'll be getting together in Riyadh and we'll do another global conference. So that will be pretty much the extent of our activities there.
Well, that's great. This reminds me of daytime talk show because sometimes guests come on daytime talk shows and show off their outfits.
Yeah, well, I don't have much to show off. I will be just in a regular business suit tomorrow. Today, we just had a series of meetings with all of the conference participants to work through the agenda and make sure everybody's ready. And so I'm actually in pretty casual jeans and a shirt. But Mom wanted to put on the traditional garb here for women, just so that your podcast viewers might be able to get an introduction to the styles and to the customs as far as that's concerned.
And interestingly, that when groups of people get together, like there were about 8 of us here from all over the world, lots of places in the United States and from Egypt, and in the late afternoon we'll be planning, all right, now where are we going to be going to dinner? And it is the men who will then be saying, well, now what are we wearing? What do you want to wear for tonight? Because the women, it's already decided we're wearing a baya. When we go out for dinner, we would be eating a baya. So what you wear is your choice of the baya. But for men, it's still, well, are they going to wear a suit jacket or whatever? So they have the typical discussions that women might have in the United States when they say, okay, now what are we going to wear? So it's a little bit role reversal.
Okay, I'm glad you're both standing up because there are quite a few things that we could talk about, but one thing, since both of you are standing up, you won't be too surprised, I guess. One thing I wanted to talk about on the podcast and ask you what you think about it is I'd love to be able to go to the Survivor finale in May in New York City.
Well, interesting that you should mention that because on the airlines that we flew. I flew to Paris, and then on Saudi Air from Paris to Jeddah. And when they gave us the menu for the selections to be flying from Paris to Jeddah, on the back side of the menu was the invitation to join and to win a ticket to the reunion show for Survivor.
What? U.S. Survivor?
I didn't happen to see anything on any of my flights for Survivor, but we both know that you are an avid fan, and you go for it. I hope it might work out for you. I know you get a big thrill out of being there participating. So I hope it works out for you. Keep us posted.
Mom, was this for U.S. Survivor?
Yes.
And
So the upcoming reunion show, I guess.
yeah, the finale for Survivor season 26, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And you kept it, right?
I think so.
Oh, good, because before I worry about flights and hotels, maybe the first thing I should do is secure a ticket for the finale.
Well,
But
it's not actual ticket. It's
a contest, right?
Yep.
So good luck. Keep us posted. Let us know what happens with that.
Thanks. I looked at a bunch of hotels in New York City, and there's the Jane Hotel for $99 a night, and it's 8 or 9 minutes from the Ed Sullivan Theater where the finale takes place. But RC, who was on this past season of Survivor, told me about on Twitter. There's the YMCA on 42nd Street. It's about the same. It's either a single room is $97 a night, and like
all
with
the advertisement now, right?
yeah, and like
Your podcast advertisement for all of the hotels in the area of the Ed Sullivan Theater.
not all of them, just the one that I found,
Okay.
and the one the YMCA that RC recommended to me from who was on the last season of Survivor. And then with a twin bed, this is at the YMCA, would be $98 and $77 a night. And I'd be there for 2 nights from May 11th through the 13th, and then the finale would be on the 12th.
There you go.
And
Okay, as I said, it sounds pretty exciting, and I know how much you enjoy that show, and we wish you well.
great, and I think I have some frequent flyer miles with Delta Airlines that I could redeem, and I was hoping that I'd be able to go with my friend Mike, and I went on a mission trip to Moldova in Europe in August, and I was hoping to be able to go again, but he isn't going in August, so this will free me up to go in May, um, and it's contingent upon whether or not Sarah Dawson from Survivor goes to the finale. So I'll tweet her, I'll ask her on Twitter halfway through the season at the merge whether she's planning to go to the finale. And if not, then I'll just stay home and watch it on TV anyway, which I would have done anyway.
There you go. It sounds like you've got a plan.
And then I also wanted to ask you about Dad. The last time you and I interviewed for the podcast, you were in Dubai, and I asked you about
Yeah.
some of the movies that you like watching. And you and Mom recently went and watched the Django Unchained.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But I remember in your answer last time you said that you and Mom don't like watching bloody or violent movies. So you and
And Django Unchained certainly would be in the category of some violence and explosions and lots of people getting shot and whatnot. It's deliberately over the top. Tarantino's movies usually very interesting, and it's an interesting movie. It certainly isn't for young people, and it's not for people who might be I don't know
But
other movie I watched, sorry.
no, go ahead.
The other movie I watched because I heard that Denzel Washington did such a good job in it was Flight, but Mom doesn't watch that because it involves an airport, a crash kind of incident with an airplane, and with all the traveling she does, she didn't want to watch it for the same reason she didn't want to watch Jaws because she was afraid it would somehow detract from her scuba diving. So I watched that film and enjoyed it very much as well.
Good to hear. I like the lapels on your shirt, Dad.
Oh, well, thanks. It's I don't know what I picked up somewhere stateside or whatever.
Matt, I don't know if you've seen it or not, but I would recommend you go see Argo if you get a chance.
Argo?
Saw that yesterday. Yeah, on the flight over here. Just really an exceptional movie.
Okay, Argo. All right. I'll put it on my mental list of movies to see. Um, so last time Dad was in Dubai and he and I Skyped for this podcast, I asked him what kinds of movies he likes. And so, what kinds of movies do you like, Mom?
Well, I would put Argo on the top of my list as very important um, movie. Surprising in its how much I appreciated the entire film. Probably has lots to do with our experiences, yours and Dad's and mine, as we travel throughout the world and lived in different places. So interesting. Um, Go see it and we can talk about it then afterwards.
And this question is for you and Dad. Do you and Dad have any favorite memories from China?
Well, let's see. One of the most dramatic memories I have of China is hearing from Angie that you were in the nurse's office not feeling too well and that you had stomach ache and was becoming nauseous. She suggested that you might even have a hot appendix and recommended that we put you immediately in a taxi cab and go to the nearest hospital. And within about half an hour after that, maybe 45 minutes, you were on the operating table in China, in a Chinese hotel, getting your appendix taken out. I certainly remember that, and remember my relief when that was all over and done with, and you were home recuperating. So that's a vivid memory.
Dad, you and Uncle Al, your identical twin brother, have also had your appendixes removed.
Yeah, within about a week of each other. First, my appendix was bothering me, and I was swimming across a lake and almost drowned because I had terrible stomach pain. They took me to the hospital and removed my appendix, and then within just a few days, Alan's appendix was also very hot, and so he was in the hospital. So, yep, we both had our appendices removed just like you.
But do either of you have any favorite memories from China for yourselves? Anything that you yourselves experienced?
Tina?
One of the things that I liked very much was getting to travel about during every school break that we had, and traveling and climbing all the different holy mountains in like Archie and Wushan and Huangshan. That was certainly memorable when we climbed to the top of Huangshan, the Yellow Mountains, and sat there looking at the beautiful scenery high up above in the clouds, and then turned around and looked to you and didn't find you for another 7 or 8 hours, and you had wandered off. Do you remember that?
Yeah, but again, this is another story involving me. Anything that either of you have experienced?
Well, I remember one time from the school got together and they had a dinner that was planned, a black tie dinner, fancy long gowns and everything in Beijing when we were in Beijing. And we went up to Mutanyu, a section of the Great Wall, and they had elegant dining for the people that had signed up for this particular trip, actually on the Great Wall. So things like that, or climbing sections of Sinutai, another remote section of the Great Wall. Really spectacular opportunities in China. So we travel around even to the eastern province of Xinjiang when we went to Urumqi. Places like that are just fascinating and fabulous. So lots of opportunities there in China to travel.
Yeah, and in addition to those memories, I was also quite impressed by visiting with you and Katie and your mom, the Terracotta Warriors. Not only because they were so famous and had been highlighted a number of times in National Geographic and television shows and things like that, but also because the site is so extensive that it's still an actual active archaeological dig. So to be able to go not only to see everything that had already been excavated and was set for kind of public presentation, but to also be able to see the archaeologists actually in another section of the pit doing their work and uncovering lots and more. And of course, they'll continue to be doing that, I suppose, for several more years. So seeing the Terracotta Warriors was also quite spectacular.
Do either of you have any positive or negative or favorite experiences from the Congo?
Oh, wow. Well, that certainly was a different experience. I think that was more the campus of the school was just gorgeous. There were 100 acres of rainforest that was school campus where we were. And then when we wanted to go into the city, Kinshasa, we would drive in, but you had to keep the doors locked and the windows up, and you never really felt safe at all. It was pretty much a high adrenaline rush. Only one at the time, only one traffic light in Kinshasa, which didn't work, and nobody paid any attention to it anyway. And you would plan your route to avoid any street uprisings or large groups of people, because you never really know politically what was going to be happening in different sections of Kinshasa. So an interesting place to live two different worlds, one on the school campus, which was just very beautiful and tranquil, and then the inner city life of Kinshasa, which is fraught with so much difficulty from some of the environmental and outside regional issues that filter over into the country.
And yeah, I have all kinds of wonderful memories of Kinshasa. One of them is associated with, well, a couple of them are associated with rains. You may remember that when it rained, because a lot of the roads, particularly off the main road, were all dirt. And so I have all these memories of it raining and then it clearing up and seeing all these men and women, particularly the women, in very beautiful dresses, very colorful. And I remember the women were taking their shoes off and they were walking in the mud to the bus stations or to work or wherever they were going, just barefoot, walking through the mud, all dressed up like they were on some kind of runway. The other thing that comes to mind, I mentioned rain. It would rain sometimes so hard there in the rainforest. Campus is on the rainforest, and it's in that kind of tropical area. It outside your home, it almost sounded deafening. You couldn't hear people talking. The other thing is, of course, if the rain came in the evening with the incredible thunder and lightning, you felt like you were in the middle of some kind of eerie, surrealistic environment. And then during the day, if the rain would come, it would be dark and thundering, and then within a half an hour, there would be beautiful sky and beautiful clouds, and you could smell all of the forest being so verdant and so lush. And then you'd hear the birds come out and
Incredible bird life.
so I remember the whole aspect of the weather and the beautiful, beautiful tropical environment. At the same time, I remember all the excitement when the local people would think there was a great big snake in the area, or an owl, or they would talk about the hippopotamus. They would talk about some of the monkeys, all those kinds of things. They would talk about those as omens and animal spirits, and so they lived in a world where it was very romantic and sometimes very scary and sometimes exotic. And to be able to hear them tell stories about how they perceive the world, and I remember one time coming in and telling the guards how excited I was because a beautiful, beautiful snowy owl had been flying almost parallel to my window, and went up into bamboo forest. And I thought that was very, very exciting. And when I told the guards that, they were afraid because they thought that maybe the owl was a spirit and a ghost. And so there are different perspectives in terms of those kinds of experiences. Really fascinating. And that happened all the time. It was a wonderful experience. Good time to do that.
All right, two more questions. If you were me,
Okay, good.
if you were me, what would you ask you?
All right. Tina, you go first.
Oh, gee. Well, I probably would be inclined to say, okay, where in the world would you want to go live again? What was your favorite place? And I have an incredible feeling about living in China, and maybe that has lots to do with the fact that my mom was born in Shanghai, China, and spent the first 3 years of her life there, way back in 1917. So it was a different world, certainly, than the China that you and I came to know and love while we were there for so many years. But I think probably what I love most about our living experiences is that we've had an opportunity to do so in so many different places in the world, from Hilo, Peru, they did the driest place on the face of the earth with maybe, I'd say an eighth of an inch of rain in the course of 10 years, I think is what the figures are. Just very, very dry there. To living in Shanghai or Beijing or Xiamen, China, to the time we lived in Australia and in Sydney, and then Kinshasa. The opportunities to have such a diverse cultural experience is what I find most exciting. So I don't think I'd want to give up any of them. There are lots of places that I've been that I would like to go back, but most of the time I think, okay, where else in the world can I go that I have not yet been, because there are so many interesting cultures and opportunities still out there.
Okay, and I'm falling out of my seat. Let's see. I think if I were you, what I would ask you now is, well, all right, Dad, here you are, and you're entering into kind of like a time in your life where you can look back, reflect on everything. What has given you the most joy, or in what are you most proud? And so the way I would respond to that is the same answer. I see most fulfillment is knowing that both you and Katie have grown into such wonderful people, very, very kind-hearted, sensitive, um, and very caring about other people. So that is what as I look back over things that I've been able to do and places I've been able to see and go, the thing that makes me most proud is you, young man that you are, and the young woman that Katie is.
Okay, last question. Is there anything that you'd like to say to our viewers, or do you have any questions for me?
Well, I'd like to save my questions for the follow-up podcast because our plan was to have this as kind of phase one as an introduction to make sure the technology works and the connections. And then after we get back from this trip, I think the plan is to sit down for a follow-up. So I'm going to save my questions with you to that until then. What I would like to say to your viewers is it's not original, it's not from me, but it's from the author, Kurt Vonnegut, who toward the end of his life, when he knew that he wouldn't be around much longer, he was asked what did he want to say to his readers, his fans, or what did he want to leave as kind of a departing thought. And basically he said, well, what I want to say in essence is what I've been trying to say in every one of the things I've ever written. Just take care of each other and be kind. So that's what I would wish and hope that all of your viewers take care of themselves, that they are kind to their friends and loved ones and even strangers. So that's my thought. Tina?
I would agree, Matt. And I think that's the most important thing that in a world as big as ours, that is so incredibly close and easy to communicate with so many different people, that we do what we can to respect and to take care of one another.
Well, it's been great. Um, I'm glad that we got to Skype and to see both of you on the video, on the webcam, and I'm glad that we got to Skype with you and see you in Saudi Arabia together. And
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Awesome. Shall we break off now and hit the terminate the Skype conversation? Is that what we do now?
yeah, let me just do the outro.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching.